Okay.
So let's start the classes. And today we are going to discuss about the relationship between physical environment and health. So what is the relationship between this environment? Uh, let's discuss. So relation between physical environment and human behavior. When we are discussing about man environment interactions or the human activities in relationship with environment, then human activities and their impact on the environment. So human activities, utilizations of environmental resources, concept of sustainability, all these things are mostly affected due to the interaction between human and the uh, environment. So environment means the surrounding conditions that affect the lifestyle of the living things or our surrounding, which includes natural and man-made things, all are considered environment. So human lives gets affected by the environment and have hence we are differentiated in human life of different regions. Like in there are certain environmental conditions, so there are different regions where we can differentiate between these interactions of the environment and these human behaviors. So again, the talking about environment, it is classified into two categories: natural environment as well as artificial environment. Uh, so what is natural environment? All components which comes into existence naturally are included as natural environment. So the landforms on the earth, the climate, the soil, the minerals, sunlight, all are called as natural environment, which are plentifully available in nature. And sun is the source of energy, and there are some pathway in environment we call as different trophic levels. So sun energy gives to the producers, that means green plants, then it consumes by consumers, then primary consumers, secondary consumers. So the resources which will distribute throughout these organisms present in environment. So the natural resources, nature gives plenty of resources for us for survive. So all these are natural environment. Whatever you see, the mountains, the water, the air, the garden, or the forest, or desert area, whatever you may see, all are the natural environment, and everywhere the life exists in different forms in the environment. So then called cultural environment. What is cultural environment? In order to enrich the life, man has used many natural resources because the man is the most intelligent creatures among all of these organisms. So the health issues also related to the activities depending on the man. So due to value addition of this environment, nature environment is available, but the environment or resources is used by the man through its different activities and added some values, as also it added some disvalue or make pollutions to the environment which causes the different health issues. And its processes has brought many changes in natural environment due to the different activities, that is called artificial activities or man-made activities, like human settlement, buildings are created, used the trees are cutting, deforestation, forest trees are cutted and making concrete roads, buildings, dam having. So there are so many things are altered, the natural environment is altered by this and man-made activities due to its development kind of thing. So it's clearly impact the natural very much. So these are the different man-made things. See, large skyscrapers are there, the buildings, road, industries, dams, which creates great impact to the environment. And this is the whole effect on the environment that can be indirectly affect to the health of the people. So interactions in environment, what brought the interactions? There are two things are in environment. This is called biotic or abiotic. Biotics are the living parts and abiotics are the non-living components. So the biotic components depends on the other non-biotic components, etc. Or plants produce their food using solar energy. That means there is an interaction between abiotic and abiotic, because without solar energy, without the help of water, without oxygen, we cannot produce food. Plant cannot produce food. So by combination of all the things, the non-biotic things, the biotic things, they are produce food for survival of energy, and that can be transformed from one level to another level. So all other organisms are depends on each other, as well as the non-biotic components. So this is the sunlight falls on the green plants, and the only green plants has ability to convert the solar energy to the process called photosynthesis, and that store energy in the form of food, like in plants, stem, leaves, or in fruit, seeds, etc. So this is the called producers, because it directly convert the sun energy to the useful or productive energy. And population growth also leads to different cases of industrializations, fossil fuel burning, non-renewable resources utilizations, creates lots of pollution, and obviously nowadays huge amount of carbon dioxide can be released due to industrial activities. Not only carbon dioxide, other types of pollutions can be released. What are the pollutions? They are sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, or very much things are also released in the environment. So the environment which is already utilized by the other organisms as well as the men, because the men which are present in a clever animal called, say, this is the uh, intelligent animal among all other animals, so they are utilize the resources, and the resources are depleting. Indirectly the environment is degraded, and as a byproduct there are various kinds of pollutions are occurs. What are the pollutions? Let the air pollutions, work pollution, water pollutions. So many pollutions are there that can be released due to these man-made activities, and these man-made activities are mostly uh, the man-made activities are mostly the industrializations, burning fossil fuels and non-renewable energy resources, etc. All these things are caused mostly the hampered due to the human activities, and that's why the human activities which are mostly very useful some cases, because not only we are destroying things but also due to this development we can utilize the resources. So there are some consequences due to these types of pollutions, growth, also, etc. So what are the consequences? There are consequences like acid rain, climate change, obviously. So let's discuss one by one. So acid rain, what is acid rain? The burning of fossil fuels may causes uh, uh, release of various kinds of um, so toxic substance or toxic gases like SO2, NO2. Then we mix in the water vapor in the atmosphere, and along with the water vapor, it fall down to the earth like sulfuric acid, nitric acids. So these are the byproducts of industrializations or the toxic pollutant releases to the atmosphere when mixes with water vapor, and is rain as acid called acid rain, and this is the most damaging the environment. It damages the agriculture, damage the forest, damage the monument like Taj Mahal in India, that is also degraded by this acid rain, because the industry near around the Taj Mahal, they are emitting huge amount of sulfur dioxide, and mostly the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, these two chemicals are responsible for acid rain. And the sulfur, so what is the source of sulfur dioxide or nitrogen dioxide? The coal burning, which is mostly the source of the energy from the industry, mostly the for the power plant. Whenever we are burning coal in power plant, and it produce heat, and that heat is utilized to form the electric energy. So that sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide are the source of acid rain, and the sulfates, nitrates mix with the water vapor and the atmosphere, and sulfuric acid, nitric acid, they both are fall down along with the rain. This is called acid rain. Then acidification of lake, and due to the increase in this acid along with the rain, it fall down to the earth, and the soil or the lakes or which are the which collects the waters which are acidified due to the huge amount of the acid along with the rain, because rain there is no acid, but whenever the acid, the pollutants are there, they form the acid and mix with the rain and fall down. So the inside the lake, or first it falls down to the agriculture field, all the soil, which creates lots of problem to the other living organisms. For example, all plants or animals organisms, they have live with the optimal conditions like optimal temperature, optimal pH, all the things, humidity, so all the things. So if the acid increases or the acidity increases, indirectly what is this, the pH decreases, because the acid, the range is 0 to 7, and 7 is a neutral the pH scale, and 7 to 14 is the basic. Obviously the acidity increases while the pH scale is decreases. So due to this high pH, lots of other organisms, they are died in the they cannot survive, like lots of fish, frogs, and many agricultural plants also, and soil will become acidified, lake become acidified. So these are the consequences. So what is the relations here? The relations is the pollutions which created by the human, that can be severely affected first to the vegetations as well as different kind of organism, and indirectly whenever we are depend on these vegetations and the other foods or other organisms, we are also hampered, or we are also uh, affected directly or indirectly. So whatever we are doing, the consequences are we have to face it. So this acidification of lakes becomes so acidified that the no other life can be live in this acid. So this is one relations or consequences. And next is the deforestation, which is the cutting down of tree. So nowadays huge number of populations are increasing. So due to the population increase, what happened, in order to build their homes, and in order to building the their various kinds of industries, or due to needs of the lands, we are cutting down the forest, and we are building different kinds of things. So the cutting down the tree or cutting down the forest is called deforestation. So the most important points why deforestation occur due to the population growth, demands of lands, or demands of agricultural field, or demands of industry, whatever you may say. So cutting down tree to build a new home. So what happen when we cut down the tree? Mostly the loss of biodiversity occurs, means the natural habitats, whatever the plants and whatever the others animals they are living in the forest, they are going to die. And most important things, we are hampered because of the plants are the only producers of oxygens, and the absorbance of carbon dioxide happen due to the green plants, because due to the photosynthesis process, the plants absorb carbon dioxide or to produce food or produce glucose molecules, and it can release oxygens. That capacity is only for green plants. So we are cutting down the green plant. So the carbon dioxide, which is already released by the industrial activities and human activities, and they are very high amount in the atmosphere, they cannot be eliminated. So the loss of carbon dioxides are present in atmosphere, they cannot be eliminated, and oxygen quantity is down, because the plant releases oxygen, this is also not possible. So this deforestation creates lots of problem. First is increasing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which leads to global warming, which leads to climate change, all the things also happen. So next is the pollutions. We already discussed about water pollutions, and so air pollutions, and what are the effect on human health in the last classes. So obviously water pollution, the oil spills, gasoline spills, get into drinking water. These are the different pollutions related issue in the water pollutions. Because the when we are oil is spilled in the water, it cannot be used, and cannot be also treated large scale. Mostly in the marine sea pollution, when oil tankers are get spilled in the water, so huge numbers of marine sea fishes and animals, they are going to die. So all these are due to those human activities, gasoline is nothing but the petrol and diesel, they are gasoline, and get into drinking water, that are incorporated in drinking water. And when the water is consumed by the other organisms, mostly they are affected, they are going to die or having certain diseases, and that can be seriously affected the health of the organisms. Then human activities and what are the impact on the environment. So what are the human activities they can do? Human impact to the environment called the anthropogenic effect, because all artificially they are created troubles and problems called anthropogenic activities, called anthropogenic impact, impact the environment, which includes change in biophysical environment and ecosystem diversity. So biophysical environment, what do you mean by biophysical? That is changes the environment, biophysical environment changes. First is great importance. Then second is ecosystem biodiversity changes, ecosystems biodiversity. Then third is natural resources are declining. So these three are most important things. Biophysical environment means environment, the whatever present in our surrounding, whichever it is, maybe natural or artificial. So mostly the nature gives our air, water, all the things in our environment. So biophysical, that means the environment which is present both abiotic and biotic factors, means the non-living things and living things that indirectly or directly related to our health, these are altered. Once the balance in nature alter, then what happen, the adverse effect may be seen in the different kinds of animals and plants. So these changes of the concentration, let's say the oxygen concentration decreases and carbon dioxide increases, that is also one changes. So another changes, let's say examples is the gradually the heat become increases. In cold time, cold become colder. So the changes which cannot be tolerated by different kinds of organisms, and they are going to be seriously affected to their health. So that is called biophysical environment changes. Nowadays you have seen lots of floods, lots of water are rain waters and improper due to improper drainage systems. Many things recently the cyclone and is come across in India, uh, oh, Bay of Bengal in area. So all the things are altered. Mostly some natural changes are happening and also the anthropogenic changes happening. But according compared to anthropogenic and natural, naturals are managed by themselves. While anthropogenic activities which are ignite or which are triggered by the human activity, which is undesirable and which creates more problem to the environment as well as health effect, creates a great effect on health of the animals, plants, mostly for men directly or indirectly. Then ecosystem biodiversity. What is ecosystem? What is biodiversity? You have to understand. Ecosystem means the total complete systems that consisting of both biotic and abiotic and all living organisms, which are from the birth to death, they are depends on each other. Whenever some animals or organisms, let's say birth takes place, then depends on others, as well as their growth periods and their livelihood for the their running journey of the life, they depends on others factors such as food, light, energy. All the things are they cannot be produced by themselves. And in where the animals or the organisms lives and competes with its cycles or with its life cycle, the total system is called ecosystem. And what is biodiversity? The variety of the species of the animals. Let's say whenever you are saying in a forest, let's say forest only, not only the trees are there, various kinds of trees are there, big trees are there, small trees are also there, grass are also there, and huge numbers of different kind species, variety of trees are there, variety of species are there, different kinds. For example, large banyan trees are there, small grasses are there, and we are depending, and the most wild animals or animals are also there, like tigers or deers and any different kind of snakes, frogs, birds. So variety of animals are there. If the variety are more, then the ecosystems or the animal which are living, they are living very peacefully and their life is going smoothly. If the variety are less, that means we can say there is a stress on the systems, and the animals or the plants, the biodiversity are not they are depleting. So that by killing the wild animals, by killing or the deforestation activity, we are cutting down the tree, this diversity are become less nowadays, and these are due to the human activities or human. Then natural resources directly indirectly by humans. So nature gives up various type of resources for all other organisms, but the humans, they think that no, nature is for ours. Only nature gives the things to only humans, not others. So by this thinking, we are utilizing the resources like different kinds of food, wood, or any minerals, any metals, or anything which can be found in nature, and we are utilizing that resources uncontrolled way, which indirectly we are impacting the natures, and that utilizations consequences is that degradation of human health, not only humans but also other creatures also. So there are different many causes of human activities and their impact. What are these? Why we are forced to doing these kinds of alternation in natures? Due to the overpopulation, due to the meeting of the demands. When more peoples are there, more needs of buildings to stay, more place to live, more needs of food grains. But that are in natures, they are limited. The resources are limited, but when the population increases, they are exploiting their nature uncontrollably. So overpopulation is the most create impact on the environment. Then pollutions. Pollution mostly directly indirectly related to the developmental activities or economic development. Whenever you are saying that economic development, that means there industry or the some products is there. So whenever we are making our life easy, then we cannot stop the pollution. Byproduct is obviously the pollution and degrade the nature, and the consequences we have to face it. So pollution, next is pollution. We have to minimize, but we cannot stop this kind of thing. Then climate change. Due to the pollutions, climate change occur. Climate change, how climate change occur? Because at the time of rainy seasons we are facing cold. At the time of cold we are not having cold. So there is a huge change in climate. That means you have seen recently in um, that Sahara Desert or in the Dubai Arab, they are having huge rainfall in it. So in last 100 years in desert area there is no rainfall, but nowadays there are more rainfall in desert area. So that is purely change in climate, which is creates significant damage to environment as well as the health of the humans. Then that creates water pollutions, air pollutions, and other things. So these are the human activities we are mostly related. And deforestation, obviously there is cutting down of trees. So our pollutions populations has grown into the epidemic since morally rates have decreased, medicines has improved. So what is the reason for the overpopulations? Due to the epidemic, morally rates have been decreased. So we are made due to the increase in scientific or research development or increase in healthcare or increase in our medicine sectors. We improve that methods, and due to that we just peoples are not dying because of these kinds of disease or the medicines are having. So population in increase, and we cannot control the population growth because that is spontaneous, and some peoples are again what happened, the population growth is like India is now the world most highest population in the whole world. Previously it was China, now India become highest population. We cannot control, even if there are so many population control methods are there. And also the methods industrial farming are introduced. Industrial farming, in order to meet these uh, demands of this overproduction populations, we also doing industrial farming. Industrial farming is the farming which are mostly doing with different kinds of advanced techniques. So the effects of overpopulation are very quite severe due to the changes in environment in order to meet the demands of this. With one of the most severe beings is degradations of the environment. We cannot control, we cannot stop this kind of thing. So an increased population results more clear cutting and resulting severely damaged ecosystem without enough trees to filter the air. And the most causes is deforestation, the cutting down the tree in order to needs of these different kinds of uh, space or some industrial activity we cut into the tree. And second thing is burning of fossil fuel. What is fossil fuel? The petrol, diesel, coal, whatever we are burning in order to get energy or for transportation, for industry, huge amount of fossil fuel is burned, and lots of CO2 levels are CO2 or any pollutants, mostly air pollutants, they are released to atmosphere. And one cases pollutions are increases due to the highest burning of fossil fuel. In another cases the trees are cutting down. So both are opposite in nature. If trees are there, then CO2 level increases, that can be balance, but the CO2 level is also increased due to insufficient amount of trees are there. So huge CO2 level increases in there since the last during the industrial era, that is 1960 to 1990, and then 2000 era, and after that huge significant increase in CO2 activities are the CO2 in atmosphere. Previously it was 0.3 ppm, now it is 0.5. So huge. Let in another 10 years it may be 0.6. So it almost double its amount of the CO2. That is the great impact, causes great impact to the environment. Then human consequently require more space with the industry ecosystem and increasing CO2 level. Even if there is having great consequences for this all these things, humans are forced to live and forced to do this kind of thing. If you are do not making industry, do not uh, cope with the development, then you cannot grow, you cannot compete with the developed country. So that's why it is very much necessary in order to maintain a balance between the environment as well as development. So pollutions is everywhere, from the trash, from the freeway. So you cannot deny, even if you are when bring or even buy a packet of chips and just eating, after eating you throw the plastic in the dustbin, that creates pollutions. And the plastics, even hundred thousands of years, you cannot degrade in the soil. So it causes huge pollutions. So you cannot deny, everyone is responsible for the pollutions. So we cannot stop, but it may be we just slow down the process. The millions of metric tons of pollutions dumped into the atmosphere and the soil and water. There are three kinds of pollutions are there. Mostly air pollutions, water pollutions, and soil pollutions. And already we are discussing about the air and water. And the soils are called municipal solid waste. And whatever the household things or anything that dumped in our sites, that is called soil, create soil pollution. And also it is so bad that 2.4 billions of people do not have access clean water resources due to the pollutions and the scarcity of the uh, clean water. So many people, they are forced to live with poor conditions and the health will be deteriorated. See, this is how this carbon dioxide gases and the pollution gases are increased in the atmosphere, and we cannot stop these chimneys in industry. Then most important relation between the health as well as the environment, or between the humans and environment, is the climate change. So climate change is the closely connected to historical development industry technology. So the global temperature increases. So over a large number of times or a period of times, it can be changes completely, and that is called climate change. So earth weather patterns will be disturbed drastically. So weather means the seasons. We may call the rainy season. So particularly in month of July, rain comes. So that is called rainy seasons. But when the rain comes in the December, we cannot call that is a rainy season. So due to the changes in this kind of thing, a huge amount of impact on this human health also increases. And this patterns of weathers is very much important and affected. So this overall cause climate changes, and most intense hurricanes of different frequency are also intensifying and prolonged during the drought heat wave. In summer season, large numbers of heat waves are there, huge heats are there, and sometimes the cyclones, hurricanes, tornado, these are also create devastating things in the climate, and droughts, floods. So you have seen in recently the Bodogara city also, there is a huge amount of floods and floods in our roads, and water logging is there. that creates so much environmental impact as well as the health of the people who are living inside this water logging areas. So that is the consequences of the climate changes. The air pollution does not just affect the environment, but also this in a long period of time it changes overall climate. So evidence of the mounting that poor air quality, rising temperature, all these things. Nowadays you have seen in Delhi cities, the air quality index is degrading. You cannot get clean air outside due to the uh, heavy air pollutions. So all the things are affect the human life and the living qualities, and due to it degrades human health. So, so air quality also changes, air temperature changes, delicate ecosystems and leading increase asthma and cancer rates. So nowadays the asthma, cancer, blood pressure, sugars, these are nowadays common diseases, which is the consequences of this all human or anthropogenic activities. So glacier melting of glaciers in Antarctica and increases the sea level, that may cause one of kinds of this great impact of climate change. Examples of the climate changes. So sea level is increases because the huge glaciers are melts in polar regions. Water pollutions, we already discussed the different kinds of different health impact on the water pollution. So let's summarize again. Even 4 million tons of garbage are dumped in the oceans. See, water, actually water in our in our mythology, we can see this: whatever we are not going to dispose, we can just throw out in the water, or that is called visarjan. See, even if in our DT, which are made up of different modes and all this in Durga Puja, Ganesh Puja, we are just throw those DT and the, are in the water, because the water has ability to absorb all kind of pollution, all kind of things into it, and that can be pollute, that can be dilute itself. So water have huge capacity to dilute the pollute. So that also have been at last going to meet the sea, and the sea is overall the one third of the sorry third fourth of the water is present in sea. So we are also changing the sea or changing the pollutions in the level of sea. So we are just dumping these things in the water, and obviously the water can be polluted. So not only garbage is introduced, but also different kinds of fertilizer, pesticides are also mixed with the water, and that can be through the rain and mixed with the water, that is river, streams, lakes, ponds, and that can be creates a huge amount of pollution levels that can be indirectly impact the human health. That is wind floods, rain floods, wind dumped excess right to the large producer oxygen we have. So all these are created by this because water itself degraded. So water organisms which are depends on the water, that are also getting harmed. So after year after, long tons of garbage are dumped, and that can be mixed to the oceans, and that mostly consist of plastic, and that is insoluble, because plastic or the water we are called polluted, that are insoluble in water, and they are thrown back, or they having created some different various kinds of specific problem into the uh, later. So pollution is the number of the threats of the aquatic life, as well as the reduce the biodiversity. So what is the biodiversity? That means the variety of species or variety of animals lives into the water. So all are going to be affected. See, this is one example. The ocean seawater spillage, oil spill, and huge plastic that are damage all these sea beach and cannot be affect the various organisms. And lastly, the term is called deforestation, the experimental exponential expansion, because in order to meet the demand of the humans, we are just cutting down without thinking what is the consequences. We just cutting down the forest, and this is increase in exponential manner. That means huge numbers are cutting down within 1 hour, 1 minute, only 1 hour we are talking these things. A large huge number of tree can be cut down in anywhere. So more foods, materials, and shelter, we are just cutting down the tree, being manufactured at the different rates, and mostly steaming from the forestry. That is forestry, there we can cut down the forest, and in order to get the forest product like wild timber, wood, all the things, in order to use us in our daily lives. Forest also clear to make way from new humans, obviously no, and which turns into make the humans, you can see the problem, because immediately we cannot see the problem, because whenever you cutting down tree we cannot see the problem for us, because the birds and the animals which are depend on the tree, they are going to suddenly homeless, and that indirectly impact us by the loss of biodiversity, etc. So this problem that are not seen immediately, but in a large scale the problem is very big. According to international data, estimated 80 millions of areas of tree clear each year to make the new development of the plants, new developments of the house or the for the wood products. We are everywhere utilizing the wood product for the doors, windows, table, chair, bed, which are mostly made up of wood. And that woods, where it comes? It comes from the forest, cutting down the forest, and we are utilizing in our home. So that is also creates huge problems. That is called part of the deforestation. So we should have to stop the deforestation, because the trees are very valuable, and these trees are the only things that can be convert carbon dioxide to oxygen. The only oxygen is given by this tree. No one can convert the carbon dioxide to the oxygen. So we have to stop these deforestations, and also plants more tree, that is called afforestation. We have to plant more tree in the different areas in order to increase the number of tree. So humans activity need to stop all these things in order to survive, because today or this 2024 2000 era we are seeing that whatever these they are balancing the nature. Let's say after 200 years, let's 200 5 2000 to 2500 era, after 300 years, so the population increases and the tree, there are no tree at all in our earth, or all water soil get polluted. So what happened at the time? So that should be think by the humans in order to survive in future. So human activities in relation to environment, what are these? We already discussed. The human travels not only to more people and goods, but also build, maintains and relate infrastructure, rail, road, transport, etc. Because in order to easy your life, whenever you are going to Vadodara to Delhi within 1 hour, so you have to must go with the air. And do you think that by going here, do you create any disturbance to the environment? Yes, obviously. In every hours, the hours you are already traveling 1 hour from Vadodara to Delhi, a tons of gallons of that called petroleum fuel that can be blown away in our that journey. So think how many numbers of planes are rails and the transportation which can be creates a huge amount of pollutions. Pollutions is okay, but we are also simultaneously cutting down the forest. We creating carbon dioxide, but the source of the consuming carbon dioxide we are blocking. So that is the problem. Development is not the problem. Problem is that we are blocking all the natural phenomena, all the altering the natural phenomena, all the balancing things. So in order along with the development, we should go with the nature. That is the motto. Human consumes energy. Without energy, we cannot live. Whatever may be, that is the in form of different energy. There are so different kinds of energy. First energy which is need, that is the food energy or food that survive to you. After that, you have to needs different energy. So like solar energy, diesel, petrol, transportation sector, running industry, huge amounts of electricity energy. So there are different forms of energy are needed in order to all the things consumes so the daily livelihoods. So consumptions of this good material plants spends huge amount of energy, and whenever you are running mobile or laptop, you are also utilizing energy. So that appliances, automobiles are conversion of energy from another. So this very much needs of the humans, because without this energy we cannot grow, we cannot develop. So this is the needs, basic needs. So energy also a relation, because environment whenever we are utilizing energy, byproduct is the that is called pollutions, or that we are alter the environment. Another human activity to fulfill their needs of wood, paper products, create new agricultural productions done from centuries, deforestations, and the environment way. Whenever you are utilizing different kinds of paper or wood, furniture we already discussed, that also creates a lots of degradation in the environment. Utilization environmental resources. Also, environmental resources is one of the material services which can be utilized in different forms. Is available in a society to fulfill their needs. Every people have their different needs. Water is one of the crucial environmental resources. Human utilize it through drinking purposes, to cooking food, to bathing purposes, using agricultural field, using different sanitary purposes, hygienic purposes, anything. So, those are the resources we are utilizing. Another word is used to most beneficial resources is the forest, plant, tree, and other animals. So we are also depends on these different other animals, other plants, and for our different purposes. We cannot deny that we are living alone, because in our nature, in our environment, we have a maintain to a balance relations between other both living as well as non-living things. So if something is become more or something become less, then that creates a imbalance, and that affect the human health and all these our living conditions. Then what, thinking of this development as well as the utilization of resources, you cannot stop the utilization of the resources, but we have to utilize in a controlled way. That is the concept of sustainability. Sustainability is the concept that we are utilizing our resources, but in a controlled way that can it long last in our future generation, in 3000 era, 2500 era also, they are also having some resources to utilize that cannot be that also be fulfilled. So natural resources are two types. One is renewable, another is non-renewable. So there is a need of the awareness between what is renewable, what is non-renewable. So awareness between the nature's resources must be there. Energy is the most foremost needs of the human beings currently in universe. In order to preserve the energy, we can utilize non-renewable energy like solar energy, wind energy, and other energy. So these energy perspectives, we are also thinking that we are utilizing the non-renewable energy, which can be never end, like solar energy. Solar energy never ends, but the petroleum, coal are one day end. So we are also having in your courses this types of energy in next semester. Perhaps it is green energy. We are having discussed more details on this energy. So there are huge numbers of non-renewable and renewable energy are there. Then as awareness about water conservation is important for the agriculture and industrial sectors, and effective smart way to consume water. We cannot live without water, but utilizations in a proper way, not wasting the water. So there are campaigns are there, save water, save life. So these are the different types of things. Now water is also very precious. Water does not mean that any water. Water means the clean water which can be utilized. But water is the can be polluted water that cannot be utilized for us. So the whatever the potable water or clean water that is needed, that should be utilized in a cautious manner, so that can be a long run. So then also we should have at last let make a summary. Natural resources is the best interest of our needs. So we have to utilize the resources in a control way that our future generations can also be utilized. We just whatever you have to given does not utilize in a single term. Let's say if you have given 1 crore rupees, and that is that 1 crore rupees can changes your life, not only your life, if you are utilizing the 1 crore rupees or 1 crore in a way that your future generations also going in the long run. People are just you waste the 1 crore rupee by spending in casinos and in drinking alcohol and other things. So what happen? 1 crore rupees is also very small to utilize in your life. But when you are investing the 1 crore rupees in different sectors and making your business more, then that can be utilized by generation, your child and their child. So like this, the natural resources, that is the crores of values, they are given by god or nature here itself. So we are just utilizing that in an uncontrolled way, can we are not thinking about our future generations. So the most important thing is the man, which are the crucial animals, We have to utilize the resources by thinking our future generations in a controlled way. So that is the main thing. Also, the new animals from the earth crust use the resources, the plants, animals, all those things, and contributes to our economy and further help to the prosperous world. That is the motto. We have to utilize in a controlled way that can be not only nourish you as well as your future generations can be uh, get benefited. This is all about the first part of the environment in relation to the human. What are the effect? So next class we have the study about what are the different other types of things which is so this is all about today's classes, the environment and man relations. So next class we have to study about different other impacts. What may be the different other impacts which can be greatly utilized due to the activities or the other activities that it creates other types of impact. So for today, this much. If you have any questions, then you can ask. Okay. If you do not have any questions, then